good friend Pat Aliwell's in North Sheffield. Top fancier, as you know. I've sold his pigeons for 2 years now. Very much in high demand. Pat doesn't sell at all. I have a lot of people asking me for his number. They want to come and visit him, but he's just not interested. Very private man, and he only gives me 10 each year of his very, very best. And they are in high demand because he doesn't sell. He doesn't sell and sell and sell from loft. So I've come again today. It's 7th of September 2021 in preparation for the Blackpool weekend. We're going to look at his pigeons. We're going to look a little bit into his feeding and his methods to give you a little bit of something to watch about the man as well as his pigeons. So enjoy. Right, we're up in Pat's garage now, roof, where when he parts his stock pigeons off his ends put up here out of way. This is a special pigeon we're going to look at, retired to stock this year or last year?
This year.
This year. A pigeon called Seabiscuit. There's a story behind that which I'll mention after, but Pat will explain what she's won, what she's done for him. Really incredible hen, to be fair.
Yeah, so she was joint first fed when she was a young bird, and then again she took the fed as a yearling on a 2100 velocity, and then last year was a 2 year, it was a 2 year old, 18, 19, 20, it was a 2 year old. She had a couple of prizes inland, and then she took the fed from, she was 18 fed from the first channel race. We only had 3 channel races last year. She was 18 fed at the first channel race, beaten by 3 loft mates. And then 2 weeks later, she took the fed from Le Mans. And then 2 weeks after that, she took the fed from Falaise. And she got an RPRA award for it.
And in the, so I'm right in thinking we just spoke about this. 4 times first federation,
yeah.
One as a young bird,
yeah.
Sprinting, one as a yearling sprinting,
yeah.
And then 2 first feds over channel,
yeah. And
Falaise and Le Mans.
And she's had a few minor prizes as well.
As well as others together. Falaise to you is 320 mile, and Le Mans
385.
385, nearly 400. First Derbyshire and Yorkshire region,
yeah,
and 3rd national
UK.
3rd national UK middle distance pigeon, or ace pigeon, as we've started saying in UK now, same as abroad. So she's lovely, and I've handled her many times before. But first region and 3rd national middle distance ace pigeon, and there will be 2 out of it.
Yeah,
2 out of it in this year's sale. Not bad to say Pat's historically always sprinted, but it's only recent years he started racing and sending some in the Fed and the Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, Yorkshire combine. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think was she 5th in that one?
I think she were at one of them, yeah.
5th combine, about 4,500 pigeons.
Yeah.
So that's just one of them, retired to stock now. And Bloodlines of her?
Lambrex.
CNC Lambrek.
Yeah.
Obviously we know from last 2 years selling with Pat that his pigeons are mainly Macalonis, but he has got some CNC Lambrek pigeons what are fantastic.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Especially crossed with Macalonis pigeons.
Yeah.
That's really fired them up.
Seabiscuit she's called. Tell us the little story, Pat. Go on. Well, he won't, you know what he's like, we've done it before. The story behind this hen is he used to keep his hens in a little section right at the very left hand side of his racing loft when you look at it on the picture. She would never go in that section. Twice a day from exercise she would go right in the far section at the other side of the loft, the right hand side of the loft. And quite as a mouse, she used to trap into that, and he used to have to go pick her up twice a day, put her in a section. She used to drive him mad, a bit of a pain in the arse. And he tells me there's a horse called Seabiscuit, or was a horse called Seabiscuit, turned out to be a champion racehorse, which almost got put down because that was the same. It was a bit crazy, and the trainer thought about having it put down, because it was a pain in the arse, just wouldn't do what the trainer wanted it to do. And she would say, awkward, obviously loving that section.
Yeah, she reared a pair of youngsters.
Yeah, she reared a pair of youngsters into the section what she always flew back into instead of going in her own, so maybe that was a motivation to achieve what she's achieved. I said there's not many middle distance pigeons in the country like her, to be fair. She retired very young. 3 years of racing.
Yeah,
As a young bird, 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and then it stopped. Right, we've got another one of Pat's fantastic stock hens, which they are. There's not many in here what haven't bred fed with us. Lovely check by them. What's this one, Pat?
it's pigeon called Precious Hen, which Willie McAloney's bred from her. It came via Mark Trinder at Doncaster. He had it originally, and when he packed in, he rang me and asked me if I wanted to buy it, and I snatched his hand off.
Yeah.
I fetched her back here, but she bred winners straight away. Pigeon's top fed at the channel from her, and she's also the grandmother to a pigeon that was second open for Brendan Broughton in North Midlands.
Yeah, that was that this year?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Youngsters.
Yeah. She's Precious Hen.
Another Macaloni, breeding winners for fun. Lovely type of energy.
Well, you're not seeing them at the best now because
No, obviously
they're in bits.
It's September, they are heavy in malt, but breeding fed winners for Pat. He's exchanged a few pigeons with Broughton Brothers at Sheffield, and straight away a youngster for them, second open.
We swapped 10 for 10 and they did well. I've done well with theirs. Theirs have flown very well for me.
Just shows you. Racing this year has been difficult, but even still, Pat's flown exceptionally well. He's topped the fed a few times, and had as many losses as a lot of people, and I think that's due to quality of pigeons that he's got. And how old's this hen?
She's a 13 pigeon.
13 pigeon. Scottish ring on it, obviously Macaloni. And there's a couple from this hen in the sale, I think, as well, isn't there? Yeah. There'll be some pictures on video as well. Did you have this hen photographed?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they'll be on there. Precious hen. That's the quality that Pat's got, and that's why they're so sought after. And you can't get them, because he won't allow me to pass his number out to anybody. Right, this one, quite special. We've got a pair that's called black pair, obviously the dark ones. And these are quite special. Very sought after as well. Last sale I had on the RPRA website. I thought the pigeons were going to struggle, to be fair, but the pigeons from the black pair fetched very, very good money. And there's another 2 from the black pair coming up this year. These are unbelievable. Tell us about this one, Pat. I know what she's bred, but tell us.
Yeah, so this is the hen of the black pair, and John Weecroft got them for me from C&C Lambrecht.
Yeah, Directs.
Yeah, and at the end of 2017. So I bred off them in 2018, 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And in them 3 years I bred me 5 first fed winners.
In 3 years?
Yeah.
Straight off?
Yeah. Now this year is the first year I've actually bred off the children of them. So I've raced grandchildren this year. I've only had 4 young bear races, but one of them's already top fed.
Yeah. And we only talk top feds with Pat because we've done it that many times. You'll see, or I can tell you, you'll see in the write-up that'll be alongside this short video, that when he tops fed, he generally gets multiple drops together. So second feds, third feds, fourth feds, fifth feds, there's hundreds of them, which some people have banged the chest about, but we only really mention first feds because Pat's prize winning list is as long as anybody's in country. And Paul and Willie McAloney will testify to that. In fact, Paul McAloney calls him one of the UK's hidden gems, or something to that effect last time I did the write-up. Direct CNC Lambrek, we all know John Wheatcroft and his connections that he's got, and he's a good friend of Pat's. And straight away, bred 5 first fed winners in 3 years, as well as other fed prizes, as I've said. And this year, bred from children of the black pair, which will be in this year's auction. Children of the black pair, also breeding fed winner for him, and other winners. So there's 2 children of this pair.
Yeah, and so this is the first year I've actually bred out. This is the first year I've raised grandkids.
From grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're at it again.
So yeah, straight away the children from these, first time he's bred from them and raised grandchildren, and won the club, top the fed, and he's only had 4 young bird races. So we've got the chance to acquire 2 children from the black pair, and going on last year, which was the first year that he put some in the sale, they were in very high demand. So there's 2 again this year. CAC Lambreks, which are still doing business and have been around for a while, but they're still there, week in, week out. That's the hen from the black there. Right, we're here now in underneath where the stock hens are kept, and this is where Pat stores his corn. Now, Pat's just explained to me he doesn't put that much importance into feeding. He doesn't stick to a certain brand. He'll go to a corn shop thinking he's going to buy X, Y, Z, and he comes out with something completely different. And I dare say that's more or less every time you go. You look at.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. As long for racing, as long as it's a mix that's got plenty of maize in it, plenty of carbs in it, and high carbohydrates and fats. I'm not too fussed whose mix it is.
Which brand it is.
Yeah. I change quite often. Quite often I'll change mid-season and go into another mix. It doesn't seem to make any difference. It's good pigeons in good health that want to race.
You told me that actually halfway through, I think it was last season when I came. He'd just been at a corn shop and come back with a completely different corn halfway through the year. It didn't make any difference.
No.
Good clean corn, good pigeons, but I've got a family of results behind them, and health. But what's in Pat's bins now has more or less been mixed together because they're molting. Probably has a couple of race mixes left because young birds have only just finished with them.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go through feeding for racing. What would be, and I know Pat uses the same method for old and young. So we'll start off, obviously they're on some kind of breeding mixture when they weed off, I would imagine.
Yeah.
High protein.
Yeah, young birds, yeah.
And then when they start flying they lighten the feed up.
Yeah.
So when they start flying reasonably well, what do you put them on then?
I don't like to have them on breeding mix too long after departure because you get young birds stuff the cells with peas, then you start with problems. You start holding corn.
Yeah.
And for me, you want some of that goes through them quick. They can digest easy. You seem to struggle digesting the heavy peas and beans, not that feed beans, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I like to get them on some lighter stuff so it goes through them quicker.
What kind of mix would that be? I know it changes, but
Not hard and fast, diet, depurative, not hard and fast.
just that alone?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I might chuck a few peas in with it, but not much. I don't like too many peas.
And that'll encourage them, get them going up to fly.
Yeah, yeah.
Generally, the lighter the feed is with young birds, at that kind of age, gets them up and going.
I used to think plenty of peas down there and plenty of protein down there, and they'll grow bigger and stronger. I don't think it makes any difference. I think while they're just stuffing them with peas and protein, you're going to bring problems.
Yeah.
You get them to digest it. Next thing you know, you go in loft, they're all in corn,
Yeah.
start spewing it. And
Yeah.
if you keep, I've noticed if I keep them up light stuff, it goes through them quicker.
And they're generally healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then, from then, they're flying well on that. When will you start, or do you start, introducing a more sport type mixture for when you start training?
Probably a week or two before first race.
But rest of the time they trained
Yeah.
on that diet
Yeah.
mix,
Yeah.
the exercise on diet mix, and you start using the sport mixture.
And again, that diet mix can be anything. It can be a depurative mix, it can be something with not much barley, it can be something with plenty of barley.
Yeah.
It's not hard and fast.
Mhm.
Not hard and fast.
So sports mixture then, week before first race, we'll talk about the feeding, building up as you would from, let's say, Saturday when they come back, when you're racing. When they return, what?
So Saturday they come back, they're on diet.
Yeah.
Plenty of diet, as much diet as they can eat. Same Sunday and pretty much same Monday. Then Tuesday start to turn it back over onto the race mix, half and half.
Anything on that diet mix? Protein
Um,
powder, produce, or just that diet mix?
No, I use Guy Spavin's, forget what you call it now.
Well, I've looked at it, it'll be up there,
Yeah,
won't it?
yeah.
Well, I've looked at it when we go up there. So there is something on, what sports mixture?
Which one?
Yeah,
Yeah, it can be 3 different types mixed together, or 2 different types
Yeah.
mixed together.
so you've got a BJ.
I've used Jerry mix, I've used Verslager Widowwood mix, I've used
Bears.
the Bears one, yeah. I've had all 3 mixed together. I've had 2 of them mixed together, or even one on its own. I'm not fussed as long as it's high in carbs.
Yeah. And generally, because it's close by and it's a pretty large shop, you've got a BJF.
Yeah,
They do Versalager, Bayers,
yeah,
and their own.
yeah.
So it would be a good Versalager
Yeah.
sports mix.
Anyone, they're all good mixers, they're all good clean
Bayers.
mixers. Any one of them, I don't mind.
And one of theirs.
Yeah, yeah.
One of their Widowwood mixes.
Yeah.
Mixed in together.
Yeah.
Fats. Are you a believer in fats? Peanuts, chopped up peanuts?
Yeah, yeah, I have another what I call a fat mix, which what I used to do is peanuts chopped up and probably some red band mix, some trapping mix with some sunflower heart seeds in.
Yeah.
Mix it all up as a fat mix. This last couple of years I've started using that one of yours, that Northern Power.
That NPH fat?
Yeah, I've been using that,
Yeah.
mixing that in. Yeah. Some weeks I give it, some weeks I don't.
Do you get it depending on headwind, distance?
Not really. Not really.
When you fancy.
Just sometimes, some weeks I'll just try. I'm going to try something different every week if I'm honest, and it pretty much works all the time. So I'm not that bothered about feed because I've just come to conclusion after all these years that good pigeons in good health win races, and as long as the feed is sensible, they'll respond to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tell you, very relaxed, no set routine. He'll go and buy different corn. Some people buy a pallet, so it's all the same pallet and everything. And Pat just goes and gets what he wants. Good healthy pigeons with a bit of motivation.
Yeah.
He's very relaxed and the pigeons do it. So
Yeah. I don't know, maybe if I was more regimental with it and I stuck to these, maybe I'd win more, but I'm happy what I'm doing. And quite often, I mean, I race hens and I race cocks.
yeah,
Quite often at a race, one week I'll feed the cocks a particular way. I'll just feed them race mix all week, and I might feed the hens fat mix all week, just to see what happens. It don't seem to make any difference. They still turn up.
I'm glad you mentioned that fat mix, because I've spoken to a few people this year what are using it. I don't get any money for it, by the way. BJ's sell it, but it's something that I've done for years, and they mix it now. So
Yeah, and I mix it with my own fat mix as well.
Loads of chopped up peanuts in it and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Very relaxed feeding, not much importance. Grit and mineral. When did they have that? A lot of people.
Pretty much all the time.
Yeah. They have it on a Saturday when they return as well.
Yeah, it's there all the time, 24/7. They're in 24/7. Yeah.
Just them, or do you have grit mix?
No, just that one.
Just them redstone pots. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have grit mix when I'm rearing youngsters.
Yeah.
But they love these.
Yeah.
It's got salt in it, after salt, and they love them. They devour them when they're rearing.
Particularly when they're rearing.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's as simple as that. Right, we've come up to Racing Loft now to talk about products and supplements, which Pat uses very few of, not many at all. What he does use are from Gary Spavin, and he uses his services on a regular basis throughout breeding and racing. The products that Pat's going to show you, he's already told me that he likes to use them. He does trust Gary Spavin, but do any of us ever know do the products make any difference or not? These are the ones that Pat uses. So we'll start off with the teas, Pat.
There's 3 teas: Sunday tea, Tuesday tea, and a Thursday tea.
Is that what he sells them as? Monday, Tuesday? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday tea.
Sorry, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Right.
Yeah, and I use them all year round, throughout the season.
Monday.
Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
And you use that all the way through winter?
All the way through. Yeah.
So they're the teas what Gary Spavin.
Or sometimes if I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to mash them up, I'll use that one, because that's got a lot of them.
It's got them in it.
Yeah.
So it's similar to the teas, but obviously it's made up in the bottle rather than making them fresh. T3 Super Herb, sold by Bamford's Top Flight, but it is a Gary Spavin product.
And that's a new one what Gary's brought out this year.
PBT9, 100% natural tonic, purifies the blood, helps keep heart and cardiovascular system functioning to the optimal level. And you've used that this year as well?
Yeah.
Smell that. When's that given to him, this PBT9?
Well, yeah, it's a new one what he's fetched out this year when he told me to try it, especially for young birds.
Right.
3 times a week for young birds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying that this time.
What days?
Any 3 days.
Just any 3 days when you remember?
Yeah, when I remember, yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2 products.
That one, or BPS, what Gary calls it.
Yeah.
BSP is it? That's on the corn on the Saturday.
Saturday on the corn. Bamford's Top Flight retail it, but it is a Gary Spavin product. Adeno Zest. What does Gary call it?
BSP.
BSP.
Or BPS.
Help combat stress, sickness and wet droppings in racing pigeons.
It cleanses the crop.
Improves digestion, stimulates appetite, fights crop retention, drier droppings, silky feathers, speeds recuperation, and prevents yeast build-up.
Yeah.
And that's on the corn on a Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday when you come home from the race, and it smells really nice.
It does that smells very strong. It smells a bit herby as well. Obviously, Gary Spavin's into his herbs.
Antimicrobial, that's in the water on the Saturday.
And that's a Gary Spavin.
Yeah.
Antimicrobial.
Microbial.
Antimicrobial.
And rehydration.
Big believer in that, aren't you?
Yeah, I love this stuff. I'm always giving them that, especially if it gets hot like today. if they were training today, I'd have that in water.
Yeah, it smells sweet. It smells.
I mean, when it's really hot, I'll give them that every day.
Yeah. You can tell it's got. I think it's got a lot of vitamins in it as well.
And it's got. I think it's got molasses and stuff like that.
Full of vitamins. It smells a little bit like the Toloson Forte.
Yeah. Sedacol or Supercol. It's a copy of Sedacol, I think. I've been using that for the last couple of years. When it just when they're molting, has it made a difference? I don't think it has, if I'm honest.
I think it's good for the liver. Obviously, if the liver's functioning properly, it aids the nutritional support they get from the grains. So.
But I've had plenty of good years when I've never used this. Never been near it.
And plenty of good years when you have, or a few good years, quite recent.
Yeah.
So that's the Fraser's Supercol, Sedacol. Yeah. Obviously, there's lots on market.
Yeah. No reason for that one in particular. It's just that BJs sell it.
Yeah.
If BJs didn't sell it, I wouldn't bother.
You won't, because you only go
Right.
there. Right.
That's about it, really.
As I said before, Pat visits Gary Spavin, between 4 and 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Throughout
probably 6
season.
weeks, or if I think there's a problem, I'll shoot over.
And other than them products there is no treatments.
No, if he sees that canker levels going up a bit, he'll just tell me to give him a quarter tablet flagyl, which isn't very often.
Yeah.
Or if I take 10 pigeons over there, and one of them's got a medium, he'll give it a quarter tablet there and then.
Respiratory treatments?
Never.
Never. When was the last time you gave a respiratory treatment?
When I was at Cromwell Street back in 90s.
Back in 90s, can you believe a sprint man, obviously he's doing it on middle distance as well, but a sprint man is not treated for respiratory other than a natural product since 90s when he lived at Cromwell Street.
Yeah, back in 90s, I'll tell you when I used to use a respiratory product, which was a Romfried one. And it was when I got my young uns, trying to get my young uns up to fly, and sometimes they wouldn't fly, and lazy buggers, they wouldn't fly. Yeah. And I always used to think it were a respiratory problem, and I used to treat them for it. They didn't get them up flying. They're just lazy sods, too fat. That's why they.
In them days, they got a lot of protein, a lot of peas.
Yeah, that's right.
Won't get up.
Yeah.
A sprint man that doesn't use antibiotics on a regular basis and has never given an antibiotic for respiratory since 90s. And his performance of sprinting are as good as anybody, and I mean anybody, all the big names you know, this man's just as good, and he doesn't treat.
To add to that, there has been times when people will know what I'm talking about when I say this, you go in loft and you get a pigeon that's, rattling. Straight away you think it's got respiratory problems, and you're giving it stuff for respiratory. I've done it myself, and it's not worked, and you've ended up having to get rid of them. 9 times out of 10 it's canker. I had one actually just a few weeks back, a young bird. It were rattling like you've never known, and I gave it a quarter tablet of flagyl, 3 days on bounce, cured it. It's back up flying now, no problem. It's canker.
Yeah. Big problem.
But no respiratory treatments. No.
Yeah.
But if they got a problem with respiratory, I'd go and see Gary about it, and if he said it's respiratory, you need to give him this, I would do it.
So there you go. Again, like I just said, a sprint man that don't use antibiotics on a pretty regular basis, I think you'll struggle to find a top loft, sprint loft that don't treat and treat for respiratory since 1990s. Obviously his loft environment is fantastic, that aids. The full loft at the back has got a full length aviary on that his hens and young birds use. I don't think your cocks go in it, do they?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
As and when it feels like it.
Yeah, well during winter
time.
it's 1 day for cocks and one day for hens.
Yeah. Racing season, he's cocks in boxes, or occasionally let them in aviary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. Natural health, natural immunity that's been built up over years. Well, 90s. Talking what? 20 odd years. a natural immunity in this family, this same family, because we fetched the macaroni pigeons in 1990.
It's since I've started going to see Gary Spavin, that's when I stopped with antibiotics. He put me right with that.
Was that roughly coming, because you fetched macaroni pigeons in, as we've said before?
Well, pretty much about the same time.
Probably the first one in UK to bring them south at border.
Yeah. I had a big problem with Candida back in early 2000s, and I was going to see a vet. I'll not say who it is, but it were a well-known vet, and they got the diagnosis right, but the medication, they got it wrong. And you know, I treated them with Nystan readily basis. I couldn't shake it off. And you know, I heard about Gary and I went over to see him. You know, he same again. He got the diagnosis right, but the treatment was totally different. And he said to me, you won't get rid of it overnight. And he was right. But I did finally. I did what he told me to do, and I got rid of it. And I hadn't seen it. And I probably took me maybe 5 or 6 years to shake it off completely. But now I rarely have Candida in my pigeons. I think it's just giving too many antibiotics. What causes it?
Yeah. So there you go. Since 90s, very few treatments.
People are blind treating with antibiotics and they don't really know what they're doing. We are some, you know, looking into it, looking under that microscope and see what's going off. They've no idea. They're clueless what they're doing. They're just doing what somebody else has told them to do or what they've read about. And they're clueless. They don't know what they're doing. They're doing more harm.
More harm than good.
Yeah.
There you go. The results this loft's had. We are medicating, unless Gary Spavin advises. I don't know what else I can say really. Just a very few products, supplements, very few, and no antibiotics, unless advised. But
yeah, and I've got to be honest, quite often I forget to get them.
Yeah. So when you hear Pat saying things like that and about his feed, you just think it's a good family of pigeons with generations of results, top health, and a bit of motivation.
Yeah, the health is everything. Absolutely, you got to look after them and keep them healthy.
Yeah,
that's key, and good pigeons.
Yeah. That's all. Pat's going to show you a couple of race birds that have done well for him. The first one is a youngster this year, first club, first fed. And they will be siblings to this pigeon this year in sale. I believe it's from the black pair.
This is the first year I've raced grandchildren are a black pair. She's one of the first. She was first club, first fed, and she also got, I think she got another prize from minor prize from one of the other races. So that's the first
grandchild raced.
Yeah, out of the black pair. So I'm well pleased about that.
She's like a grandmother, shape body-wise, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, there will be pigeons direct out at black pair, and this is a granddaughter of the black pair. So you can see the winning breeding down that line. So first grandchild race, first club, first fed. She's a lovely little lad. Desperate to get back in.
Yeah.
Just going to look at a few older race pigeons now that have flown very well. Several first fed winners. This pigeon's had 3 first feds. Specsavor is called, and there's a story behind that I remember. Tell us about this.
He actually went in during last winter, the winter before, he went totally blind in one eye, and in the other eye went probably 50% blind in the other eye, and I thought, that's it, he's had it. Anyway, he came round, got himself back right again, and the following season he took the fed again. And again, he's dropped with winner again this time. He wasn't first across the pad, but he's dropped with a winner again. Flown well again, but he's finished now. He's going in stock.
So he's going to be retired at stock this time round. Breeding wise, Pat, what's his blood?
He's a Macaroni pigeon. He's actually he's a grandson of their Merlin 49, which is one of their best ever stockings.
Grandson of Merlin 49. Position wise, 3 first clubs, 3 first feds.
Yeah.
As well as others, as we've said. We only mentioned first feds at this loft. Got a cracking eyeball on it.
Yeah, he's done now. He's going down there.
Yeah. Retired to stock, 3 first clubs, 3 first feds, plus numerous other prizes in top 10 at fed, I would imagine. Unlike a lot of people.
Yeah, he's got a few smaller prizes, but I tend to forget about them.
Yeah.
Can't remember them all.
Unlike some people, Pat don't keep records. I've told him for a few years to do it, but he's only interested in first prizes. Even if they drop together on paddy, he forgets which pigeons have finished 4th or 5th. But he knows his winners, and this one's had 3 first federation, and we'll be going in breeding loft this time. Outstanding.
This is a multiple prize winner. She's top of the fed. Again, she's drop weight winner again this year. She's another one. She's an 18 pigeon now. She's winning stock pen.
Another one being retired to stock. What's bloodline of this one?
Sorry, she's a Lambrick.
Lambert. When sort of dark end, I thought Lambert. Numerous first prize winner, first federation winner. She direct from the black pair.
No, she's not off the black pair, but she's related to them.
Yeah. How many pairs of Lambricks have you got, Pat?
No, direct. Not many.
Not many.
Maybe 6 pair.
Do they all carry similar blood to the black pair?
Some do, some don't. I mean, I was getting Lambricks. That super pair what I got them back in 2011.
Yeah. So she's not from the black pair, but she has got the black pair blood.
Yeah.
From direct.
Yeah. She's a granddaughter of that super pair from 2011.
Right. Lovely little hen.
Again, this year she's drop weight winner. She didn't go over pad first, but I know the one race I took first 8 and she was one of them.
Yeah. As I said, multiple drops. Drop with first 8 pigeons, taking first 8 in the club with the eye up in the fed.
I didn't top the fed that day. I think I was 3rd, 4th. They were all in first 10 at fed.
First 10 at fed 8 pigeons, and she were with them. Plus she has top the fed as well. You can't.
Yeah, she scored as a young bird, yearling, 2-year-old and 3-year-old. He's
scored
very consistent. Only good honest in this one.
Another one going in stock loft after winning a hell of a lot. Right, Pat, what's this one?
This is a daughter of the black pair.
Right.
She topped the fed as a youngster, and that race when she topped the fed, in the week she started with a fat eye problem.
Right.
So she didn't go the following week. Got her back to right. I sent her the week after, and I took the first 6. She was one of them. And then she's also the mother to that little hen what I've just showed you.
Oh, is she?
The top of the fed, yeah. That's the only one I got off her as well.
So this is a daughter of the black pair. So there'll be siblings to this hen, direct out of the black pair. She's the mother to the check white feathered hen, young bird.
That's the only one I got off her.
First grandchild at black pair from this hen to be raised, and won first club first fed. And she's won first fed. She's dropped with the first 8 in the fed, and again all these
the little pocket rockets
all
aren't
these little Lambert hens.
Yeah.
Not mega small. They're small. They're tight.
Yeah. Them
Hard
big,
as nails.
Them big
They're
cocks.
hard.
Them big cocks. You can have them. I'll have these all day long.
Stronger than ox. Small, but
It's
strong.
so easy to, and the exercise like you've never known around here. They bomb around here 100 mile an hour.
Yeah. The Lambrecks, obviously the Macalonis are the mainstay at this loft, but these Lambrecks, both pure and crossed in, have been
well, my
fantastic.
next step is to cross children of black pair onto Macaroni pigeons.
Yeah,
That's the next plan.
yeah. Just fed winner after fed winner, and breeders of winners paired on to breeders of winners, crossed in. You don't like your pedigrees, Pat, do you?
No.
Unless you can see just results on them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if I bring some pigeons in and they win for me, then I'll go and dig pedigrees out and have a look at them. Other than that, no.
The basket's got to prove the worth. Another fantastic race. Right, we've got another one, child out at Black Pair, the phenomenal pair of Pat's Lambrex, and it just shows you how strong family is. This is another one who's topped the fed and dropped with multiple pigeons to win the fed, and it's another one, a child at Black Pair, that is putting in his own stock loft. So there'll be siblings to these.
He was the very first one that I bred off him. He's an 18 pigeon.
Very first one off the Black Pair.
Black pair,
original.
and he topped fed as a young bird. Yeah. So yeah, I'm stopping him now. He's going to stop.
Another one being stopped.
I bred. He's in race team, obviously. So you only get your first round off them when they're in race team. What was it? Oh, it was paired onto another Lambrec hen. I only got one out of the race. It's still in there now. It's had a minor prize. I think it got a third or a fourth club from somewhere when he was beaten by a couple of loft mates.
Yeah.
So you know, he's at it already.
So yeah,
Again, I'll be looking to pair that, I think, onto a Macaroni pigeon.
to cross in.
Yeah.
So another one from Black Pair going into Pat's stock loft. And although it says the pigeon had a minor prize, it dropped with, what were they, 8 on drop, 6 on drop?
Yeah, 8 on drop, yeah.
So I could have won it. And this one's topped the fed also. And out of one youngster, I had one on drop to take first 8.
Bear in mind that last race when I had 8 on drop, 3 of them were out of Black Pair.
3 of them were out at Black
Yeah,
Pair.
yeah.
Yeah, this Black Pair really... you've got other top producers as we've seen, but this Black Pair, CNC Lambrex really are. And again, he's not a big pigeon. He's a small to medium sized cock, but he's strong.
Yeah.
Very, very, I mean, look at
He
him
wants
trying
to go back, doesn't he? Wants
trying
to
to
go
get
back.
in. Trying to get in. Right, we've come back down to the house and found a bit of shade because it's very warm today. I'm just going to ask Pat a few questions about sport. One of them being, obviously this year's been an horrendous year. We talk about the hawk problem, birds of prey, people getting them back every week, hawked wherever they race from, and the losses and what could be done. And we keep saying it, but something really has got to change. I'm not for dictatorship, but I do believe myself that the RPRA need to start and dictate to a certain degree and tell people what's happening, particularly at federation level, club level. So Pat's been in Pigeons since he was a kid. He moved up here in the 90s, and then his career in pigeon racing really took off. He's a successful man in business as well, and certainly since he retired his pigeons have gone from strength to strength. Things have changed in them years, Pat, which we were speaking about earlier. For young bird losses, let's say, moving forward, what do you think federations can do to try and prevent the amount of losses we have?
Yeah, well, I've said it before, I made no secrets of it. I think the biggest problem with a lot of federations is old men that won't change their ways, they're stuck in their ways. They won't try anything new. And we've got to be trying different stuff, i.e. maybe basketing Saturday mornings for Saturday afternoon race, providing it's not too hot.
Yeah.
and I think, you know, our fed in particular, we need to get our transporter out and let us pigeons have 5 or 6 tosses in it, let them get used to it, maybe take the trauma out of it when they actually go to the first race, because every Friday at the first young bird race, all the guys get together, they're chatting about how much training have you had, and what you done this and that, and they all say the same, already had loads of training, you're coming from such and such in so many minutes, and great, best team of young birds I've ever had. We get that same chat every year. You go in that trailer, boom, problem. What is it? Why is it some feds can get great racing and others can't? What is it? I don't know. I ain't got a cure for it, but to me, we've got to open his mind and start trying different stuff. If it means racing Friday, I know a lot of feds have raced on Fridays and Mondays and had great races. I know some have had bad, but a lot of them have had more good races. And so this year's been unusual weather-wise. I mean, August, I was listening to something on telly in week, and it was saying statistically August has been the cloudiest month since 1963. I certainly think that's had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
We had to doubt.
Yeah.
Is it the Hawks? Maybe. G5? Not convinced with that. When you get other feds in the country getting good racing.
Yeah. Yeah, if it were G5, you'd think it'd be across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not convinced with that.
I think one thing we did speak about earlier is the new ideas of I mean, myself, I work full time, I work shifts. It's a struggle to race my pigeons, and I moan about it all the time because I get frustrated that my shifts, and often I finish work late, and my shifts don't allow me to compete and gain the results at the level that I want. Occasionally I get my day, but work gets in the way. And you will always have the argument of people working, don't want to race midweek. But when I go back to what I said about something being set in stone, sprint racing, it's like corridor flying into it. Some feds are wider than others. But for me, and we spoke about it earlier, we spoke about west side of country, straight down, Midlands straight down, east straight down. So you've not got pigeons crossing. I know Welsh lads who have to come across, that's fine, because not everyone has to do that. But in UK, in England, if you had the corridors split in 3, I don't think there'd be as much of that. And again, that needs coming in.
I think also one of the problems this year has been because of COVID, and guys down south, they normally south road flies, they turn around and come up here.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's going to have increased clashing problems.
Massively.
It must have.
Massively. I mean, we'll see what next season brings.
And I think that's why these lads who have been racing on Fridays have been getting away with it.
Yeah.
Been getting good racing.
Yeah. I think we'll see what next year brings regarding French racing. I'm a pessimist, I'm a miserable sod at times, but I think it looks promising. So we'll see, and then we'll see if everybody goes back south rather than going north. Clashing's a massive thing. Experience on wagging.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are fed in particular. I think where we went wrong was, again, caused by COVID.
Yeah.
There were no break between old birds and young birds.
Yeah.
And it's a big ask to keep the old birds going to compete and get the young birds going at the same time.
Yeah.
We usually have a 2 weeks break, and I think for us that needs to be reinstated. Get your trailers out, let them have a look at it. It's got to take the trauma out of.
Yeah.
If they have a few training tosses in it, it's got to take the trauma out of it, sure.
Yeah. And again, that's something they've done on continent for years. They have club training or fed training. I think a 2 week break is a fantastic idea, even for lads who are fortunate enough not to work like Pat. You're still racing your old birds and you're trying to do your young birds.
It's a big ask.
It's almost a bit of an impossibility, particularly for working lads, which I know some, like myself, either choose race young birds or race old birds and don't bother with other. It is a big ask. So to have a gap, if people have managed to get half a dozen short tossers into the young birds running up to the 2-week gap, then you get your trailer out, you pay a few quid to pay for diesel, and even if it's only a 20 miler, the experience of going on that wagon, travelling, having drinkers put on and having a short training chuck surely must help in young bird losses.
Well, the thing is, if it doesn't help, at least we've been seen to
tried.
trying to do something, and if that doesn't work, we can try something else.
Yeah, I think things have got to change. I mean, I was very close and still undecided whether I'm going to sell them, because I can't race how I would like to. And the amount of losses this year, I haven't managed to get a race into my young birds, as we spoke about. But the losses have been horrendous. Something really has got to be done, and the corridors, the clashing, I think that's something that needs to be implemented.
And it's been bad with all bird losses this
Yes,
year,
it
hasn't
has.
it? A lot of people have suffered like Black Saturday.
Yeah, another Black Saturday, what we seem to have every 10 years, what everybody gets. Again, what's that down to, nobody knows, but you've got to try things. If you don't try them, it's not going to improve. I think getting younger fanciers into sports not going to happen, so
No.
that's a
No, I think we're the last of the Mohicans, mate.
that's a brainless question to ask. It ain't going to happen, and I think one of the reasons it ain't going to happen is down to the fancy themselves and how some people treat other young fanciers and don't particularly help them, because there's too many secrets in pigeon racing apparently, and nobody wants to share them, which is utter rubbish in my opinion. But
I think you've got to be a certain breed nowadays to keep pigeons, haven't you?
yeah, brain dead. yeah, it's hard. It's very hard, but
when it works well, it's great. It's fantastic, isn't it? When you get good racing.
when you get the highs, they're very high.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But the lows are getting deeper.
That's right. That's right. And you've got to have a big heart to carry on, haven't you?
You have, very much. Let's just talk very briefly then about, obviously we've talked about patch use or minimal use of supplements and basically no use of any antibiotics. Big thing these days, everybody and I get asked, what are you using for this, what are you using for that, and I tell people, can you order it me, can you get this, can you get that, and I will, it's not a problem, I'll help anybody out. But invariably people want to know what you're treating with. That seems to be, and I do use antibiotics, and me and Pat have had discussions before, but invariably everybody is only interested in what you're using. And I know people what have spent as much as £30,000 bringing new stock in. I mean, I can't dream of spending that amount of money, not let alone on pigeons. But he spent a fortune, he's using antibiotics, and this lad's flying very well, I might add, but there is some that get pulled along with this steam train of publicity and spend a lot of money on the fashionable pigeons, and it's a bugbear of mine. I always talk about it because in my opinion people should only be interested in results. Don't matter what blood is in that pigeon, it's results. Do you think, to help anyone that has come in, we are getting a lot of people coming out now they've finished work and rejoining sport, what would you do if you were starting from scratch now?
Well, yeah, it's a standard answer. You go to a successful fancier, don't you, and try and buy the best.
When you say successful then, do you look at magazine and think, oh, is it magazine every week, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this, it's plastered everywhere? Or do you look at a smaller loft who nobody really knows, percentage wise, is equally as good as any at big names because he sends less pigeons.
I mean, once
Work on
you
percentages.
once you've found a good fancier and he's flying well, and if you know that they're genuine people, then stick with them.
Yeah, that's the key, innit?
Stick with them.
Genuine people.
Yeah, yeah, that's key.
Massive.
So, you know, you buy a youngster off them, and it's off what they say it is, and you can be sure it's off what they say it is. Whereas they're not all like that today.
And 9 times out of 10 you go and collect that youngster and they give you another 1 or 2
Yeah,
to go in.
they do, yeah.
It's the genuine people.
Yeah.
Which I've found
And
quite hard to find, to be honest.
And quite often, you think you go to somebody else, you think grass is greener on the other side, and it isn't. They're not as good as what you've already got in it loft. I've done that myself. I've fetched pigeons in, and you can't live it with pigeons I've already got, yeah. But of course, you have to keep looking for better stuff all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the tricks.
Always,
as well.
always keep looking.
Looking for better pigeons all the time. Once you get to a level and your pigeons are coming well and you're flying well, it's difficult to find something better. They're hard to find then.
But you just keep trying.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you? You've got to keep going to good flyers, you know, top flyers who you know, I think the genuine people, keep bringing them in, and eventually you will drop on good pigeons. You stick with a genuine flyer. Every pigeon that he sells you is not going to be a great pigeon, because no matter what you think, the vast majority of pigeons we breed are useless. And that's a fact. But you're looking for that small percentage of good pigeons.
Yeah. If you can have, even if you've got a team of 50, you only need half a dozen good ones to carry it rest.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, if you breed 100 youngsters, you look to see how many of them you've got left in 5 years' time.
Very few.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you to put you on the spot here then. 2 questions. What was the last pigeon that you brought in and where was it from? And secondly, other than your race birds you're retiring that we've seen, are you bringing any in this year and where from? Or where are you thinking?
Right, so the last ones I brought in, I bought half a dozen from Macaloni's in 2019. They were late breds. I didn't breed off them in 20, but I bred off them this year, and already they're at it again. They're coming to the front already. Crossed them with my own other Macaloni pigeons. I've crossed them with some land breaks. They're all still there, and, flying steady. That's good enough.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Are you thinking of bringing anything else in this year other than your own retired breeders?
No, I don't think so. It'd have to be something special for me to. It'd have to be something special.
So there you go. Cleanliness, last question. Health of pigeons. Because I do think this contributes massively to losses we've spoke about. Some people maybe not having the knowledge and the know-how to observe the pigeons and see the pigeons when they're not quite right. You, for years, have used sand in your loft.
Yeah.
Just a thin sprinkle.
Yep.
I know another top loft in Lancashire that does that, Bob and Brian Smith. They use sand exactly the same as you. It's not kiln dried sand, they just buy sand, building sand.
It's building sand, yeah.
Spread it out if you've got the room, let it dry out, and then that's used in the sections. You've done that for years, haven't you?
Yeah. It keeps the floor bone dry, and one thing I cannot stand with pigeons is to see a damp floor. It's fatal. It's fatal. You'll never get pigeons coming to form if the floor is damp.
Yeah.
It's a breeding ground for bacteria.
So obviously it goes without saying, such as your easy bed, your obios, your horse type bedding, what a lot of people use.
Yeah, I've tried them all. Sand, I always go back to sand.
Rake through it once,
sieve
twice
it.
a week.
Sieve it. I clean them out every day. Sieve it through, and then probably once a month, chuck it out, put some fresh down.
As regular as once a month.
Yeah.
And that's just brick sand.
Because it gets less and less, doesn't it, as weeks go on.
Yeah, as you're cleaning, you're picking bits up and
and the sand sticks to the droppings, and you're losing sand all the time. And as time goes on, it gets less and less. So You know, when I notice it is getting less and less, I'll chuck it out and put some fresh down.
Nest boxes cleaned twice a day.
Well, no, I clean them out once a day. They're all
Just
cleaned
once a
out
day?
once a day, yeah.
Yeah. And fresh air in loft.
The part of the box where the nest pan is, I rarely go in there.
Yeah.
Except when they're breeding.
Yeah.
I like it out every day.
Yeah.
But when they're racing, yeah, I rarely go in that
That's
side.
shut off in week when they're racing.
Yeah. Yeah, I rarely go in there. Unless it gets really mucky, I rarely go in there.
So a good loft, plenty of sun on it.
Dry. Got to be dry.
Dry, 100% dry.
I've got a gas burner. See any damp patches under any perches anywhere, burn it dry.
Your tiles, obviously, like on my loft, in previous years when I've had young birds on dark and I use the lights towards the end of the summer, you can see light through me tiles. Obviously I've noticed with mine over the last 5 years since I built it, cobwebs. Do you burn in
No.
your roof space and get rid of cobwebs in your tiles?
Never done it.
No.
Never done it.
You just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can vouch, Pat's loft in corridor, you can tell the loft is fantastic as it is, and you don't really clean or sweep the bloom up or...
No, but what I mean, like now racing's finished. The sections are done every day,
Yeah.
but it's not very often I do corridors and that gets dusty. But now racing's finished, I'll do not like a spring clean, but yeah, like a spring clean at all corridor. And when feathers start coming out, I've got a hoover, and I just go down corridor every day with hoover to get all feathers out.
Yeah, I'd imagine then you'd probably have another spring clean before pairing up.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's left.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. I think this is the most relaxed I've ever seen Pat. Got his feet up talking. But yeah, simple things, but good pigeons.
Yeah, good pigeons in good health. If you've got them, you're 90% at where they are. I think the rest of it, a lot of it's just bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah. So there you go.
In fact, I was reading an article. I like to read Ad Charlacan's article, and I think he's top bloke. And he was saying it all me well this week about additives. You know, he's mentioned quite a few, garlic, vitamins, and you think it's all bullshit. I think he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we all like to spend money on stuff
Yeah,
for his own mind.
Yeah, I think it's psychological. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean multivitamins in water. I ain't getting my pigeons multivitamins for years. I mean, I'm trying to think of some names. Tell me something. They had one called High Road, weren't they? Remember that one?
Yeah. I mean, in this day and age, is that much on market? It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I haven't used them for years. Honestly, years. But the only time my pigeons get any sort of multivitamins is, I mean, I ain't had young bird sickness now for a couple of years. But when they did have young bird sickness, I'd shoot over to Gary, let him check them out, make sure there's no else going off, and he'd give me like a probiotic thing for 3 days, and that was it. They were sorted. And for me, when my young ones get young bird sickness, I used to get it every year. I don't know why I haven't got it this last couple of years. I've no idea. I think I've just been lucky. But prior to that, young bird sickness for me, from when I first spotted it to when I could start training them again, was 8 days. Religiously, it was 8 days.
Before they were back out.
Yeah. Before they were back on it. Yeah. No antibiotics. I've done it in the past. I've given them antibiotics, and I've had years when I've given them absolutely nothing. It's made no difference. It's a virus. It comes and it goes. And I think most pigeon men know that an antibiotic will not kill a virus. So why do it? You go to doctors if you've got a virus, you know, and he'll tell you, yeah, you've got a virus, plenty of rest, plenty of fluids, all that sort of stuff. He don't give you any antibiotic, does he? And he certainly doesn't give you any multivitamins, does he? Or if you have something and you need an antibiotic, he doesn't tell you to take multivitamins after you've had antibiotic, does he?
No.
Well, our doctors don't anyway.
No. So you don't believe in treating for secondary?
No.
Just leave them.
Unless they've got it. That's why I go over to Gary, and if he says, oh, they've got this, you better canker it, you better give them quarter tablet of flagyl as well.
Then you will.
Then I will.
Yeah. Simple. Simple but massively successful.
Yeah, because you know exactly, if you get them checked out, like I go over to Gary, I know exactly what's going off with them pigeons. I know what's going off with the droppings, I know what's going off in the crop. He takes swabs from their arse end. I know exactly what's there. It's on television screen, you can see it for yourself. You know what's going off, you know exactly what's going off, and you know, if your results aren't if my results aren't going that way, I get them checked out, I know there's nothing wrong with them, that's one door shut, I know that's not a problem. I've got to start looking somewhere else then. But if you're blind treating, if you treat them, you don't know if it's worked. There's no proof unless you're taking droppings and taking throat swabs and looking at it down a microscope. You don't know what's going off there. You've no idea what's going on.
You can't see inside them, can you?
No, but you can with microscope. The microscope doesn't tell lies.
Oh no. What do you think? Oh, where do you see it in 10 years? Go on. Bog standard old question. Where do you see this sport in 10 years?
I don't know, I might be dead in 10 years, I don't know. It don't look good, does it?
One thing we mentioned earlier,
it don't look good.
It looks terrible. Looks terrible, but one thing we did say earlier, and again, it's about clubs and feds. There's that many small clubs now. Again, maybe it's something RPRA should look at, maybe. Allowing such small clubs.
But what can you do about small clubs when there's only a few pigeon men left?
I mean, small clubs with like, there's 4 members, 5 members in that.
Yeah.
5 members across the street there, because you get it, because they don't want to join. Central marking, having, depending on size at Fed, I know people like to support the clubhouses and that, you can still do your results on a Saturday in your clubhouse, but saving costs in smaller organisations, having a central marking place at the front of the Fed, one at the back of the Fed, because financially, the birdage that some Feds are going with, I mean, I see results. Another bugbear of mine, people advertising this and that and this best thing since sliced bread, and they're winning combines against 700 pigeons. It's never been a combine.
No.
To be fair, it's a very poor birdage Fed at 700 pigeons.
Yeah.
Small clubs and small Feds still basketing at their own headquarters. Is it the day and age now where it should be a couple of central marked points so the wagon picks up there?
Maybe, but people don't want to travel, do they? I mean, I can remember back in the West Fed when we were sending 3,000 pigeons every week. We all used to go down at Matilda. Every club used to take them to the trailer. They used to park up down on Matilda, outside Matilda, and every Fed went there. Nah, they don't want to do that now. They don't want to travel anyway, do they?
No. Again, it's people that don't want to change.
Yeah, big problem in pigeon game.
Yeah, and I think that's contributed to the demise of it as well.
Yeah, and you hear people, you hear them, I hear them at club level. You know, they talk about, people don't win much, and they'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I tried this back years ago, and I had a good season with it. So 20 years ago they tried it, and it worked. And
they're going to try it in 2021.
Yeah. They need to look at every aspect of the management. Pigeons, loft, what they're doing with them, everything from top to bottom. If you're not winning anything, you need to look at everything, top to bottom.
And that goes for anyone. And I know a lot of top fanciers, if they have a week where the pigeons are off the boil, they'll try something different. If they have a bad second week, they really look at what's happening. They'll go to a vet, they change stuff. You can't let things lie stagnant.
If they've got a winning system, they don't need to change it, do they?
No.
And you know, and if you go on and on, then you've got to think to yourself, what pigeon's good enough? Is it the pigeons?
Do you think some people are criticising the pigeons far too quickly instead of looking at the
Maybe. I mean, you know yourself when you're putting pigeons through on Friday night. Some of the pigeons that people are putting through, to be quite honest, I'd be ashamed to take them down at club in the condition that they're in. And they never, they look if they ever see them again, never mind get them to come home and actually winning something, it's never going to happen. They're in shocking condition, some of them, and they can't seem to realise that they are in bad condition.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and you know, no matter something, and I've done it myself. I'll help anybody out, but some people, you're wasting your breath.
Yeah.
Because they just don't want to change.
Yeah.
Well, that's each to their own, you know. It's not I'm not being derogatory in any way towards anybody, but if things aren't going right, and I know people who fetch pigeons in every year, pigeons and over, they go spend some more money. And the same happens time and time again. I think your man management and your observations of your own pigeons are key.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've made that mistake years ago back in the day when I flew at my mum's when I lived at home. I had pigeons down there and I'd gone from good flyers, I just couldn't win a thing with them, and I was blaming pigeons. One year I just decided to change everything. Look at my training, how I was working them. I worked them more, I changed me. And them same pigeons that I was condemning as being no good started to win for me. So it weren't the pigeons, it were me.
You got your finger out your ass,
Yeah.
you got working with them.
Yeah. And they started winning.
And it worked.
Them same pigeons that I thought were crap started coming to front.
Yeah. Just showed you. So there you go. Pat Aliwell, you know how much I rate him. Bit of a hidden gem, as they say, or as Paul McAloney calls him. And his results are equal to anybody sprinting in country. And obviously his RPRA third ace national and first ace regional middle distance pigeon. He's starting to do it in short time at middle distance as well.
Yeah, Paul McAloney calls me an hidden gem, but Willie McAloney calls me a right tosser.
Is that because you've not...
Well, yeah, anybody who knows Willie knows what he's like.
and they've been badgering him for years to send him over at water, and he's only just started doing it. But yeah, when you get people like McAloney's asking for pigeons off you, you know, they do flight same blood, but he supplies Paul and Willie with pigeons as well. So there you go. That's Pat Aliwell.